What's up guys, it's Denadon here, and today I am taking a look at Virtual Sailor. Now this game came out many years ago. On the title screen it announces it came out in 2005, but basically what it is it is a boat simulator. Now this isn't to be confused with Virtual Skipper, which is another game about sailing boats, and that is also a simulator. However, I have always preferred this one as it has much better third-party content. In particular, there's lots of boats and scenery that you can get extra. But right now, I am sitting here docked in some place in the Aegean Sea that I can't pronounce, with the nice low poly buildings over there. And here's the interior as the screens pop back in. And we are docked here, so I will undock with Shift D. Now it says boat is free, so now I can look around. I am looking around using the mouse button, the right mouse button. Now if I press F2 again, I get into the external view. So you see here we got two guys, both looking exactly the same, sitting in the boat. And then if we press F2 here, the camera is free, so we can move around and we can do what we want. So if I hide that, I can move around using home and end and hold the right mouse button to pan the camera around. So it's a bit confusing. I just pressed W before, hence I brought up the weather meter, because that's one thing I have a problem with this game, is the controls are a bit odd. But at the same time, I must warn you, I have a lot of nostalgia about this game. I played this game a lot back in school. It was one of those games that seemed to work on every computer I tried to put it on. So I will be playing it here. So let's board the boat again by pressing F1. Now we can see, what do we want to do? We are undocked and we got to get out over there somewhere. So let's bring up the engine throttle a bit. Oh, that's only doing the one, so hit space to reset it. I always had trouble with the interior view of finding the one that did for both. So maybe I'll just use the plus and minus on the numpad for some reason, and I'll use the arrow keys to turn the wheel, and we are moving. You can see we're picking up speed. If I hit the asterisk key, it cuts power, so I can just drift, and then if I hit space again, it will turn the wheel back to center. But you will see the boat continues to move. That's because these boats move rather like real boats do, in that they don't just stop when you tell the command to stop, but they will drift as the water dictates. So if we move into the external view, you'll see that we have now made a slight turn and we are coasting along. So if we look underwater here, you can see, apart from those nice caustic rays, that these propellers are interesting pivoting ones. So if I turn the rudders, they turn one way, and if I turn them the other, they go the other. So if we put some power on, we'll get some movement going. And then you can see they're turning, and then let's just head out of this harbour, shall we? So yeah, it's a bit low res, but I think this game was made by one guy. And I think he's actually made another game now. It's called Vehicle Simulator, which took on it became a combination of Virtual Sailor, which is this one, Microflight, which was a simulation of small aircraft, supposedly remote control ones, and then he combined that into Vehicle Simulator, which he also added control for ground vehicles. So if you wanted a simulator where you can control land, sea, and aircraft, then that may be worth you having a look. I don't know if the community is any good at the moment, but it seems that it is from the quick search I did the other day. Content is still being made for the third party, so you'd imagine so. So if we accelerate here, let's go up to full. If I press P here, I bring up a control window where I can see how much rudder I've applied in the middle there. I've got my throttle, I've got my speed, I've got the engine RPM, I've got a fuel gauge, and I've got some switches and knobs that control some other stuff. And I have a compass on top. So here we go, going at full speed. You can see a bit of the bow wave there. Another simple sprite, but it looks alright. So there is lots of boats in this game. I will show you a couple of the default ones first, and then I will show you some of the third-party add-ons. But one of the favourite things I like about this game is that they have weapon support as well. So some boats will have weapons attached to them, which can lead to some interesting results. Now, whilst the damage modeling isn't terribly good, you can hit another boat and it will sink, or you can capsize a boat. So I'll show you that later. But here we go, here's our cruiser coming out. If we look around in the internal view, we can see how we're going, and I can move around in this internal view just by hitting home and end. So I'm still controlling the boat whilst I'm doing this. But here we go, that's looking at where we've been, bit of flickering. Or we can go up here and let's go up to the top where we have that other dude who looks exactly the same as the other dude. Yes, hello, and he disappeared. That's not creepy at all. So here we go, merge through the chair, and now we're on his screen, which I think is working. Is it working? Yes, it is working, so you can drive the boat from up here too. I didn't know that. Oh, learn something new, even after, what is it, almost 10 years after this came out. So, we'll remove that now. So, let's try a different boat. So, we got to go up here, and we go change boats. Now, for some reason, this screen only shows particular boats, but to actually see what's in and not in a scene, you have to go here. So, let's remove the current boat we have. And let's add something. What do we want to add? I've got all these different boats here, as you can see. Many of these are third-party ones. I'm not sure. Let's scroll down and let's find a good one. And I'm looking for a default one at the moment. So, is that one? No, that's not default. This one is default. Yes, you have submarines in this game too. I'm not sure why you have this one in particular, which is a little bit interesting, to say one word. But it's not too bad. Now this one appears to have a weapon, so if I hit shift backspace, yes, I've got a torpedo. Now I can use this torpedo by pressing backspace, and you can see there it goes there. Now that will keep going forever until it hits something or despawns. So I probably shouldn't have fired that off, because you won't get a reload again until that one has been destroyed. Oh, there it goes, it blows up, and there we go, another torpedo magically spawns. They're very tiny torpedoes, aren't they? But anyway, let's go in for a dive. So let's get some power on, get that propeller turning. Yeah, there we go. Now let's see if I can remember how to actually dive. Now, you can use the keyboard shortcuts. I think it is... No, it's not that. It is one of these... Like, for some reason, all these controls are mapped to odd control points. F is changing that. There we go. So D is your ballast for some reason. So you can see here we've got information. So, but I'm going to do it from the vent. So let's vent. Let's get some dive, if that will work. Oh wait, no, that's not what we need to go down. We need to vent some air, so we dive. There we go. Now we are diving. So now I can use the arrow keys to steer myself around as we dive. And you can see I can also use the up and down to adjust the pitch, which will change how the submarine works. Submarines in this work very much like an actual plane would work, I suppose. I'm not sure how accurate it is for submarines, because I've played some other submarine games that don't handle like this does. But I don't mind it too much, so here we are, we're diving down. For some reason there's lots and lots of trees underwater. I've never understood that about this game. I think the terrain just repeats when you're underwater. So let's empty some of that ballast. So what have we got now? Yeah, we're starting to slow down our depth because I don't want to hit the bottom. But I don't know how much I let in, so I think it's about 50? Maybe? Yeah, our rate of climb, or descent in this case, is going down. Have we got it stable yet? I think so. And yeah, we're close enough. So there we go. We're now cruising along. Oops, I put P up again. So here we go. We're cruising around at a depth of some meters, 95 meters. We're looking at all the trees that I think are supposed to be seaweed growing along the bottom, and like the texture, which is sand and occasionally patches of grass. and rocks. So it's not perfect, but I can forgive this game, because like I said, I have a lot of nostalgia for this. So let's bring this up to the surface, and then let's pick another vessel. So here we are, back with another default boat. This is the Ranger, which as you can see has the date when the original Virtual Sailor came out, back in 2002. Now, this boat may look like the other one, but the keen-eyed of you may notice a couple differences, namely the fact that this one appears to have a missile and 2 machine guns on the front of it. I guess this is what your budget navies have. So, and underneath we just have conventional propeller drive. So, you drive this one by default from the top. So let's steer this around a bit. There we go. Now, we can select different weapons, so we've got the missile selected, so if we fire that, we actually control these missiles. So, it's a bit difficult to use them at times, but that one appeared to just fire straight, so there is a way, there we go, to bring up a so-called targeting view, but I don't know if it's working. No, it doesn't seem to be working with these missiles at the moment, so we'll switch out of that. So, see that again, that missile respawns and then fires, and we fired it straight to the sea. But there we go, so let's change to a different weapon. We've got these machine guns, so you can see we can just fire the machine gun away, like that. Pardon my keyboard noise. Or you can fire that one, like that. And so let's spawn another ship in. Let's spawn in what we were driving before, the cruiser. So let's add the cruiser. It just added it there. So let's bring it around and let's shoot it with the machine guns that we've got selected. So we've got to turn ourselves around. This boat is reasonably agile, so that's why I'm choosing to demonstrate it with this. Let's bring ourselves around, and we've gone too fast, but spam the bullets. We've got no limit. Yeah, we hit him, and he fired his horn at us, but he doesn't seem to do anything. So H is horn, by the way, and it is pretty much default horn on most ships, so it's not that good. But and I missed again. Now, if he had guns, he would fire back at us. So you could use this as some interesting stand-in for a combat boat game, I guess. Combat naval game, rather. So let's bring ourselves around. Let's try not to keep spinning. Yeah, there we go. He is sinking. So yeah, look at him go. Now, we could dive on his wreck if we wanted to. So let's abandon that boat. It will go away on autopilot. And there he goes. So if we catch up to him, yay, the dude's still waving and the other guy not even trying to escape as his boat plummets towards the ocean seafloor. So if we move down to the bottom, we can look up. Oh, we can look up upside down even. We can look up at the boat that is sinking towards us. So our boat is disappearing in that direction. And here is this one coming. I can't be bothered time accelerating, so I'm just going to wait. It's not that long anyway. And this is some interesting stuff. I always found that this view was kind of cool. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just sadistic in that manner. But here comes the boat, and the dude that's still just sitting there, and sinking into the sand, and there it is. He can now sail the bottom of the sea for eternity. And yes, hello dude. You don't seem to be fazed by drowning whatsoever. But I will be back with another boat. Alright, so here is the Adriatic. This boat is a little bigger than the others, as you may have noticed, because it is a ship, and you have ships in this game as well. So we've got the Adriatic from Nassau, and we've got a full-on bridge, as you can see. So we can drive this from here. So let's get some power on, and we're sitting a bit close. Oh, there's a dude that just appears and disappears, not disappears. What is disappears? I'd like to see and tell me what that is. Oops, hit the wrong window. I accidentally brought up my Windows start menu. So we'll turn this, and this will move very slowly because it is a big ship. So we've got some exhaust effects going on there, and you've got a single propeller with a single rudder. The modelling is a bit basic on this one, but it will do, because like I say, it's a default run, and this game is running perfectly fine. Like I said, pretty much any computer can run this game. So it doesn't really matter about these models too much, when the actual physics are quite fun. So you actually have missions you can do with this game, like you can have it so you have to sail from one place to another and it will let you know when you've completed it. So you can actually use this as a proper ship route simulator of sorts. Yet I always just prefer to just mess around with things. So, yep, here we go. And let's see if we can pick up any speed. The camera is centered on wherever your interior camera is. So at the moment, our interior camera is in the bridge. So as you can see, the camera is always fixed on where the bridge is. But if we were to move that, then this camera's rotation point would change as well. So that's this boat. Now I think I'm going to show you maybe two of my favorite third-party models. So we'll do that. So here we are on the bridge of the Susanne, which is a fishing boat made by some person whose name I forget. But this is a very nice model. So this is the bridge. Nice steering wheel there that we can steer and we can do what we want. Ooh, look at that rudder. That would be really confusing. And so let's go outside. Let's go onto the bow. And yeah, we are the king of the world, as some guy said in some film that you all know. So there we go. We've got some water effects coming through the cabin. That's no big deal. Let's move back down the deck to the back of the boat. And yeah, there we go. So this is a fishing boat, so it is not terribly fast, but it is a nice looking model. So you can see I moved the camera points, so the camera is now turning around there. But if I want to reset the camera, I go into here, and I press tab, and there we go. Now the camera is back in its normal spot, and there we go. Now, I'm going to show you another thing you can do with this game, is you can change the weather and time to do what you want. So let's change the weather. Let's set it to be... Whoop, we get into a loading screen because I turned the time of day down. Let's make it dark. Let's make it really overcast. Let's have it rain and thunder. Ooh, some nice thunder going on there. Let's reduce the visibility so it's nice and foggy. Increase the wind speed. And let's add some big waves so you can see what happens. So 30-foot waves will do. There we go. So we've got all our navigation lights on. We've got some interesting shine effects on the hull, which I'm not sure why those happen. I've never noticed them before. But you can see that the boats do actually follow how the waves are moving. So if we turn side on to the waves, which is the worst thing to do, by the way, you don't want to do that, you can see how the water sort of clips over the hull, but then the boat also rocks. Oh, we came out of the water there. Completely plunging through it, no spray or anything, but it is kind of cool regardless. So this is like the perfect storm reenactment for anybody who actually remembers that film, which is actually one of my favorites. So if we go into the cab view, this is kind of scary, as you can see. Kind of, I can't see anything, there's big waves. Yet if you remember, we're not actually that far from land, we just can't see it. So up under the waves, over the top of the waves, down into another trough. Whoa, I don't know what's going on. Let's turn around and get out of here. So let's try and turn. I don't want to capsize, so hopefully the waves don't push me. Whoop, 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 whoop. Come on. No, don't capsize on me. There we go. Ooh. I think the waves pick me up, and there we go. I think we made the turn without getting sunk. Yes, it seems that we have, because that wave just rolled over us like it was nothing. So, yeah, as you can see, it can get quite terrifying at times. Like, this boat isn't too bad, because at least it's a reasonably big one, but you can go dinghies in this, and in those they are horrifying from how much they move around in the first person camera. So I'm going to end the video by switching to a ship that I'm sure all of you will have heard about. So the game crashed whilst I was changing to this boat, and if you may notice, my FPS is quite down now. But welcome guys to the bridge of the Titanic. With a nice horn there. Now, some of you may have seen this model before, because if you've seen my tribute video for the 100th anniversary of the Titanic, I used this model. Now, the reason why this model is so laggy is because it has quite a considerably sized interior. So, if we move out to the bridge wing here, you can see that we can look down upon the foredeck, bow, and if we look back, we can look across the boat deck. And if we look up there, we can see all the funnels, all nicely smoking away. So if we go into here, we can just phase through the door. You can see we've got the famous interior from the scenes of all those Titanic films with the glass on the bridge, the watertight door indicator panel that unfortunately doesn't work, but that's not too much of an issue. And if we walk along here, you can see we've got corridors. Now some of these rooms have stuff in them, some of them don't. You can see this one doesn't, so we're just kind of clipping through. But if we can find one, there is some rooms that are very nicely modelled. So, if we go in here, for example, we are in, I believe, the wireless desk. Yes, we are. So, we've got a map of the world that is appropriate for 1910. So, that's kind of nice. We've got the ship's notes. We've got some important notes here, which you can see is what the creator has told us about. And then you can also see some other interesting things, but we're going to leave this room now. Let's leave the indicator, let's go out here, back onto the bridge, and let's go into somewhere else. So, where do we want to go? Let's go downstairs. So we'll go down here, and we will go onto this deck, which, if I remember right, is A deck. Now, I am a huge Titanic fan, but I have forgotten a lot of stuff over the years, which is a shame. Yes, we're on A deck, because this is the promenade. Let's go for a stroll down the promenade. And we've got the first class entrance. So, some of you may remember what the first class entrance is. It is this area, which is famous for being the grand staircase. Now, you've got the nice interiors, the carpets, the lovely varnished wood. Get a nice sign telling you that yes, we are actually on A deck. And if we look up, we've got the clock there and the dome, which does actually show through the environment, as do the windows. So we can go up the stairs. There's the clock. So we are meeting under the clocks. Haha. And let's just go down, shall we? Now you can go pretty much anywhere on this ship. There is a lot of rooms that are modelled quite well. So if we keep going down, here we are, we're on B deck now. That window's not working, but we are on B deck. So we can look around here, we've got the elevators that aren't actually working. I can't see anything here, so we'll go down another deck. Here we go. Now we've got C deck. And let's go in here. So we've got cabins. Are these modelled? I don't remember. They are not, but I see something that we can go in. So let's go down to the next deck. Let's go down to D deck. Here we go, D deck, the first class dining room, which is very nicely modelled. As you can see, you've got the lovely ceilings, the entryway doors that you've seen from so many films about this ship. And if we go through here, we can go into all the other dining room areas. You've got the clocks, you've got the pianos, rather basic pianos, but they're pianos, and all the other assorted nonsense. But let's go back to the bridge, and then I will show you the exterior of this model. So this is the reason why this model is a bit laggy, is because look at that detail. It is the most detailed model of the Titanic I have ever seen in a ship game, or any game for that matter. So you've got this thing here, they notice the ship has triple screws, keep clear of blades. Now the other best thing about this is that this is completely free. You can just download this model and do what you like with it. So let's go down here, and there we go, there's the propellers and the rudder, Which, an interesting thing about the Titanic is that central propeller did not go into reverse. When you reverse the engines, only the outer propellers worked. So let's go back towards the bow. We'll zoom across all the details. Little bit of clipping on the models. And there's the bridge with the bow and that lovely shape at the bow of the ship. I say, can't you tell I love the Titanic? It is such a beautiful ship. So let's finish off this video with a sail past. If you guys are interested, I might do more videos. But until then, I am Denadon, and in this case, instead of safe landings, have some safe voyages. It's a lovely ship, isn't it? Just look at all those rivets. Ah, and we're sailing directly towards land. So, yeah, I'm gonna end that. But yes, as I said, safe landings. And safe voyages, and, you know, all the rest.